Stagflation, war, banking cracks. You can't stop it, but you can prepare. Your financial freedom depends on what you do before the system breaks. What if everything you know about your money is quietly breaking? What if the world's biggest economies, Germany, Japan, the United States, are running on fumes? And what if the rich are not just getting richer, but getting safer, while the rest stay exposed? This isn't fear-mongering. This is the world we're already living in. Rising debt, sky-high energy costs, collapsing real estate markets, war, inflation, authoritarian policies, and a fragile banking system holding it all together with duct tape. You're not imagining it. The system really is showing cracks. But here's the truth. You can't control the global economy. You can only control your response to it. And that's where the passive path comes in. This channel is about making smart decisions that give you real freedom. The kind of freedom that doesn't rely on banks, governments, or wishful thinking. So if you're serious about keeping your money safe, and maybe even growing it during chaos, this video is for you. Hit like, subscribe to The Passive Path, and drop a comment below sharing how you're preparing for what's next. Let's dig in. Germany is paying some of the highest electricity prices in the world. Its industrial core is struggling to stay afloat. After shutting down nuclear energy, it now faces power shortages and soaring costs. Japan is drowning in debt, with a debt-to-GDP ratio nearing 200%. Despite endless money printing, its economy remains stagnant. The United States, once the engine of global growth, now sees rising homelessness, shrinking savings, and growing income inequality. Now look at China. Their real estate market has lost over $20 trillion in just 2 years. That's more than the value of the entire US stock market lost, gone. Whether you live in New York, Tokyo, or Berlin, your financial reality is tied to what happens across the world. And then there's war, Ukraine and Russia, Middle East tensions, unpredictable alliances. Each crisis adds pressure on global energy prices, shipping lanes, and investor confidence. In this environment, even central banks are getting nervous. The Swiss National Bank has dropped interest rates to near zero. The Bank of Canada has slashed rates by over 2%. Why? Because economies are slowing down faster than expected. This isn't just one country's problem. It's the signs of a global reset in motion. The question is no longer when things will get worse. It's whether you'll be ready when they do. Let's look closer at what this means for your everyday life. Government for 10 years. In a healthy economy, the 10-year yield should be higher than the overnight rate. More time means more risk. More risk should mean more reward. But today, it's reversed. The yield curve is inverted. The 10-year yield is lower than the overnight rate. That means investors are more scared of the short term than the long term. They would rather lock in lower returns for 10 years than risk lending in today's economy. Think about that. Big pension funds and global banks are choosing to earn less just to stay safe. They're not listening to the headlines, they're watching the data, and their money is saying one thing loud and clear: risk is high. When credit dries up, it becomes harder to borrow. Small businesses suffer, homebuyers pull back, consumers stop spending. And since most money is created through lending, the entire system slows down. This is why the economy keeps shrinking even when inflation cools off. It's not just about rates, it's about confidence. And right now that confidence is disappearing fast. What happens next if people start losing trust in the financial system itself? More people are asking how to operate outside the traditional banking system. Not because they're paranoid, but because they see what's coming and they want a backup plan. Gold is one option. It holds value over time. There's no counterparty risk. No one can freeze it. Silver does the same thing on a smaller scale. Then there's Bitcoin. Not crypto in general, just Bitcoin, because it's decentralized. No central bank can print more of it. No government can shut it off. You can store it in your head. You can take it across borders. You can spend it without asking permission. That's power. That's optionality. That's real independence. But even cash has a role. Not digital dollars, not money in the bank, actual green paper in your safe. It loses value slowly, but it works everywhere. It gives you options when cards stop working or accounts get frozen. The key is not choosing just one. It's about holding a mix of assets that give you control. Gold for long-term stability, Bitcoin for mobile freedom, cash for local liquidity. That combination gives you breathing room when systems break down. If you ever get locked out of your account, how will you pay rent? If your card is declined, how will you buy food? If your bank is closed, how will you get to safety? Most people never think about this until it's too late. The smart move is to prepare while you still can, and one road trip proved just how real this risk is. Driving across Argentina with no credit cards and no traditional currency isn't just a stunt, it's a stress test. Only Bitcoin, gold, silver, and a little cash. Each stop became a challenge. Need fuel? Try trading silver. Need food? Try converting Bitcoin into local currency. Need a place to sleep? Hope someone will accept gold. It worked, but barely, and it showed something important. Freedom depends on access. If you're shut out of the system, everything gets harder. Not just spending, but earning. How do you get paid without a bank account? How do you run a business? How do you pay bills? How do you cross a border? You don't. If you can't move money, you're stuck. This is why financial independence is about more than investments. It's about infrastructure. It's about being able to function without asking for permission. Governments are using more control, not less. Strongman tactics are growing. Executive orders are more common. One leader may use them for good. The next could use them against you. That's the danger of setting precedent. What seems efficient today becomes dangerous tomorrow. It's not just the United States. It's the global push toward control, central banks, global forums, digital IDs, programmable money. Every piece takes away a little more autonomy. This isn't theory. This is already happening. And if you want to stay free, you need to plan for a world where financial systems are tools of control. The passive path is about building wealth, but also about keeping access to it. You need options. You need backups, and you need clarity. Let's put everything together into one clear strategy you can act on now. Diversify your savings into real assets. Start with physical gold. It's been trusted for thousands of years. Add silver if your budget is smaller. Hold it where you can access it. Include Bitcoin, not as a gamble, but as a tool. Learn how to store it safely. Practice making a transaction, then keep some cash, enough to buy food, fuel, or a ticket out if you ever need to move fast. Keep it somewhere safe, but reachable. Next, reduce your dependency on banks. Avoid debt where possible. Build emergency funds outside of digital accounts. Don't rely on one income stream. Start a side business. Freelance. Sell a service. Build something that works without corporate permission. Then, build local connections. Know someone who can trade. Know someone who can fix things. Know someone you trust with real value. These are your human assets. And finally, work on your skills. Financial knowledge, digital security, basic repairs, communication. The more useful you are, the more resilient you become. Wealth isn't just money. It's control, it's mobility, it's choice. That's what the passive path is all about. Simple moves that keep you free, even in a changing world. Like the video. Subscribe to The Passive Path and comment with the step you're taking today to protect your money. Because when systems break, your preparation becomes power.